guest, Jeff Bannock, also known as the Funnel Doc. He was early on he might be episode 3 or 4 or something like that. But we were talking about giving value. And the way he kind of burst onto the scene is when ClickFunnels was a much smaller company, he just jumped into the ClickFunnels group and just started helping people, giving information. And then what came as a result of that, he wasn't selling anything, but one of the biggest marketers at the time, Kevin David, before he blew up, he was looking for someone to build his funnels for him. And because Jeff Bannock was the guy in the ClickFunnels group who everyone was seeking out for information because he was giving it freely, they formed a partnership, and I think they sold $44 million together, right? I think they did very well selling info products with the funnels that Jeff built. And he talked a lot about just giving the value, and this is a big topic now because recently Hormozy did his book launch and he talked about giving away the farm and stuff like that. But what Jeff said is if you're worried about giving value or too much value because you're afraid no one's going to buy your stuff, then I think he said, you need to go learn more, bro. I think were his exact words. And that's it. Like, if you don't have enough value in your arsenal to give and then still have some to sell, then you need to learn more. Right. And that's what makes my job easy now, is I've been doing this for so long. Like, I can give all the value in the world and people still want to join my program because I can just be talking to them in my group coaching. And it's just like, oh yeah. And it reminds me of something that I thought about. And there's like, people get their eyeballs wide. Like, that's amazing. I go, oh yeah, I guess that, that's just pretty good information. You know what I mean? And it's just because I've spent so much time learning and I continue to learn. I'm always testing. I'm always learning. So that was a pretty good tip from Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, this is why we started this, like just that learning mentality, there's so much that we can still learn, even though we are experts in the field, there's still more that you can learn, especially when I was working at the restaurant too. I was hiring people, I was firing people, I was doing a lot of those stuff. And the way it worked was it was a level ranked, right? You start as a level 1 and then you move all the way up to level 7. And then from there you become a manager. Well, me as a manager, I was learning from a level 1. You get me? Even though I was basically teaching them everything about the business, I was still learning from their experiences, because I will have a conversation with every single person. It was so easy for me to connect with people because I'm very, very relatable, or I can relate a lot of things in the past with whoever I'm talking to, or share my experiences in the same topics that we might be talking about. So I was always able to learn a little bit out of everybody. It doesn't matter what level you are. I'm sure my divisional manager learned from me, even though I was a level under him. You get me? So it's just like there's always information that you can learn from everybody. It doesn't matter if they're experts on the field. It doesn't matter if they're beginners on the field. You get me? They might be doing something new that nobody else is doing. And then just because they're a beginner doesn't mean, oh, I'm not gonna listen to that person. I
Right.
could take a little bit of that person and then use it on my own and maybe even duplicate those results. So it's cool to always have that learning mentality, and I think everybody should have a learning mentality always, always.
And I think it's important to remember that you can learn stuff from a lot of people, because I think what folks tend to get in the habit of is say, okay, and this is a little bit contradictory to some information I've given in the past with my experience. And so my experience was like, all right, let's find the guy who's the best and let's model his success, right? And focus on what he's doing and not get shiny object syndrome. And that's what I did with Alex Becker. I happened to wait on him when I was still in the restaurant industry, and I was like, this guy is a genius. So I like basically watched all his content and figured out what he was doing, and that's what worked for me. But the flip side of that is I think we can tend to focus on one person too much. And there have been people in the past, and just because he came up earlier, Kevin David was the one that I think about when I think about this type. So he blew up. I mean, he was running ads, he was creating content daily, he grew his YouTube channel to over 1 million subscribers and stuff like that. And he was making millions and millions of dollars. So it was like, this guy's the genius. Let's focus on everything he has to say. Well, what is he doing though? He's creating a bunch of different content to get views. And so one day he's talking about Amazon FBA, the next day he's talking about affiliate marketing, the next day he's talking about selling digital courses or whatever. I'm just kind of giving general examples here. And then so people kind of automatically get that shiny objects and are like, this is my guy, and they kind of follow him, bounce around with him. Whereas alternatively, a way to go might be this, is to find the one or two golden nuggets or the big things from each marketer that you can relate with. For example, Alex Hormozi, he's huge right now. I don't consume Alex Hormozi content all day long, but I can tell you the one thing that has stuck out with me, and that's from his first book. It's the value equation. When he broke that down, that was the gold nugget that I got from him that explains like how to create an offer and how to market your offer with the right triggers and stuff like that. And it's like, that was like,